The Alberta government is preparing a 30-year plan to reintroduce passenger rail to the province, and Premier Danielle Smith has been asking her husband for advice on the issue. Provincial Affairs reporter Janet French joins me from the CBC newsroom. Now, we've learned the Premier's husband, David Moretta, was invited to 3 meetings related to passenger rail. Why are these invitations getting attention?
I spoke with some academics who say these invitations to Danielle Smith's husband raise questions about what role he would have played at these meetings. These academics, along with former Cabinet Minister Peter Guthrie, say the invitations raise questions of fairness and whether some are getting preferential access to government officials and information. Peter Guthrie, who's now an independent MLA, says he refused to attend one of these meetings in November 2023 because the Premier's husband was invited and described it as inappropriate to attend. Guthrie raised the issue in the legislature a couple of months ago.
Given the Premier is a staunch supporter of rail, particularly Calgary to Banff proposal, and given the insider advantage reeks of preferential access and concerns of influence peddling, to the Premier, are decisions in your office being made in the public interest or to benefit the well-connected few?
A University of Alberta law professor told me that a spouse attending government meetings doesn't violate Alberta's conflict of interest law, though it may raise questions from the public. And a political scientist I spoke with says it is unusual in Canada for a politician's spouse to be invited to a meeting where government business is discussed. That typically isn't done.
So what's the Premier saying about all this, and has David Moretta responded?
We did try reaching Moretta. The Premier's office responded on his behalf, saying that Smith invited him to meetings because she values his opinion on the topic.
My husband's an advisor to me, and that's allowed because he's married to me, so I can ask for his advice on anything I choose. And he happens to have 25 years in media, much of it covering issues of rail.
The Premier says she's glad she got his advice because it helps her understand the importance of sequencing and integrating rail projects.
So how does all of this tie into the bigger picture on Alberta's passenger rail plans?
Alberta is looking at a 15 and a 30-year strategies that could include high-speed rail between Calgary and Edmonton and a possible link to Banff, as well as new rail links to major airports and regional rail to smaller cities. They're studying questions such as what route should any trains take? Would they be high-speed or conventional train routes? And which routes have the highest demand? These decisions could cost taxpayers billions of dollars and shape the province's transportation future. The Transportation Minister says he plans to release the new passenger rail master plan by the end of summer.